Hello, everyone. It's me, Gary from Panto Archive, back once again with another Cuppa chat. And I'm very, very excited with our guest today. So, special guest, why not introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Max Fulham. Thank you for having me.
Hello, Max. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm good and good. I'm loving the backdrop for you already. You've got the puppets out there already.
Yeah, this is the little, well, I suppose it's quite a creepy corner. Um, got some of the old stuff behind me, some of the slightly creepy ones. Yeah.
I love it though. I love it. It sums up straight away what we're going to maybe be talking about a little bit today
Yes,
with
yeah.
you. Now, if anyone doesn't know who you are, one, where have you been? You're a bit stupid to start with. And two, Max, tell us if they can't have guessed already what's behind you. What is your special link with Panto, I say?
Yeah, so I'm a comedian and ventriloquist, hence the figures behind me. And yeah, but I'm doing panto since I was 18.
18, a long time ago. Only just last year, Max.
That's very kind.
Very good. Now, before we start the proper chat today, though, we better get the obvious bit out the way first, which is to talk about what our go-to drink is. I have brought my spotty mug today because,
That's very
well,
nice.
I think have you done buttons before, Max?
I've
Yeah,
buttonsed,
I
yes.
I thought you had. So I thought this was the closest thing that I could get to buttons today, and
Buttons.
shock horror because I normally go for black currant on these cup of chats, but I've gone for a cup of tea because it's gone cold.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because I was worried I was gonna commit an absolute act of horror on here and say that the orange squash was my choice.
That's good.
Unfortunately, as you have revealed your spotty mug, my orange squash is over there,
Oh.
and to give you an idea of how professional this setup is, you are balanced on many a box at the moment. And if I was to go and get the orange squash, I'd risk the fate of the interview, I feel.
Well, hopefully you don't need it then, Max. Hopefully you won't have a coughing fit or something like that.
Don't jinx it.
Well, I can't believe the first time I've never not gone for squash in one of these cuppa chats, and the guest has actually gone for it instead this time, which is wonderful. But there we go. Now, Max, as you were saying, you've done it for such a long, long time now, 18, and I had the pleasure, I shall say, of seeing you last year in Peter Pan as well in Milton Keynes, and you were absolutely fabulous, as your fellow cast member would have said to you. Um, how does it feel to be coming back every single year now, being the headliner in these wonderful theatres?
Oh my goodness, I'm not sure about headliner, but it's very nice. I do love it. I love Panto a lot, and I have done since I was a kid, as I'm sure many of us also feel that way. And when I first got to do it, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually doing pantomime now. And then you sort of get in the habit of that is how your Christmases go. Your festive season goes like that every year now. And I wouldn't really know it any other way now, I suppose. But yeah, it was so nice to see you in Milton Keynes because we were both panning, weren't we? We were both Peter Panning.
We were,
So
yes, yes.
that
And
was
you
good.
were
We could
Smee,
compare notes.
and I was Mrs. Smee. So we said we were a
Yes.
long distant relationship from each other.
Yes. One town removed, I think.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, not only are you obviously the ventriloquist, you are a fantastic comedian as well. And it was really nice to see the script and yourself obviously mixing the two together really, really well within the show. Is that your normal style for anyone who's maybe not seen you before?
Yeah, so it's always fun to sort of put your bits in to a panto script, which I've sort of learnt from the off when I did my first pantomime with Polka Dot, and Phil Norton was our director, and I'm still very good friends with Phil, and he sort of showed me the ropes on how to put your own bits as a comedian and a variety act into a panto script, which was great. So I worked with him on that, and now yeah, every year I work with writers to put my bits into their scripts, which is great fun. And it's always fun to go, oh well, I know I've got my bits that I know, and then I sort of tweak them and adapt them for Panto. But it's always exciting to see what I'm going to get to do for the festive season that is outside of my usual realm as well, or is something new. That's always very exciting for me, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, because you're obviously very busy throughout the whole year. Not, we're not just talking Panto. You're busy at fringes. You've got your own shows, etc. But there must be something that's, as you say, quite special every year about going back to those Panto audiences. What would you say is the most exciting thing about Panto?
Oh my goodness. Um, it's probably the magic of a family audience, I
Mm,
think. I think that's probably it because you are you are entertaining all ages
mm,
and you are putting on shows where there's something for everyone. And I don't think that sort of show exists as much anymore away from pantomime. There's not just in the way that sort of TV has changed and stuff and media in general, there's not a lot of appointment viewing like there would have been before where a whole family would gather around to watch something. Um, so I think you are it's quite an honour to be part of people's Christmas traditions and sort of being at a different theatre every year to be part of those people's Christmas traditions and now these people's Christmas. That's so lovely, and to be sort of welcomed into that. You get people coming. Oh, we always come on Boxing Day, and it's always this theatre, and then you're there that year, and you're now part of that. That's really special. So that's probably one of the yeah, that's probably one of the most magical things about it. And also because I'm an absolute nerd, just the fact that we are continuing and progressing such a brilliantly uh, old school art form fills
mm.
me with joy as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And well, we do at Panto Archive, obviously. Yeah, I love those old traditions, but giving it a lovely modern day twist and really enjoying ourselves. And those audiences, you say, it is quite amazing to think that you've just had a little smidgen of, joy to people's lives for Christmas. And maybe, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes in their lives, but as you say, we can give them a few hours of just pure magic as such. Speaking of which, I mean, you've gone through some fabulous shows over the years and venues. Is there one that particularly stands out to you that you enjoyed the most over the time? I mean, that's like asking you to choose one puppet, I suppose, really.
Yeah,
I couldn't
it
really
really
do
is.
that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you'll agree. They've all got their different highlights. Really, I think they've all been special for different reasons. Whether it is the sort of the year where you spent a brilliant New Year's Eve with the cast, or the year where you made a friend for life, which isn't just one year actually. It's most years, to be honest. The friends I've made in pantomime is really very special. And all, yeah, especially for me, I talk to myself for the rest of the year working alone. So like pantomime, I'm like, people, this is amazing. There's people here. So I think that's wonderful. Yeah, individual years stick out for massively different reasons. Milton Keynes sticks out because it was a lovely bunch of people. As always, I've been very lucky. I've been very, very lucky with Pantocast. I mean, hopefully you'd say most people are lovely, but I feel like I've been very lucky with delightful cast every year. Um, but yeah, getting to fly in Milton Keynes, that was fun. I got to fly for the first time, so that was good fun. Because I'm the comic. Why am I flying? But yes, I'll take
I'm,
it. That's
I mean, Max, that was absolutely fantastic. And as you say, so not expected from an audience as well that the comic ends up flying across the audience and across the
yeah, and
stage.
it
It
was
was
really special
wonderful.
to do it with my puppet character as well, with Gordon the monkey, because by that point an audience have sort of warmed to the puppet, and then we get to do a bit of a touch of story, dare I say, and have a bit of like those magical moments are really really nice. So yeah, that's one of the many reasons that Milton Keynes last year stood out. Oh, they've all got such highlights like 2021 in York. The sort of getting through some really quite difficult COVID struggles with the cast was again that's a triumph. The sort of the pulling together spirit of Panto, which is I think the show must go on is demonstrated uh, almost sometimes scarily in Panto. The things that I'm sure we all experience to try and pull something together to keep the show on. I mean, sometimes I think that might go a bit too far, but I think it is amazing how we're able to pull together during such an intense time to keep the show going. So yes, what a wishy washy answer. I'm not going to commit to a single year.
And that's fair enough. I'd be exactly the same. I mean, you said about Wishy Washy. You've done Aladdin three
Yes,
times,
I have.
which
I
is
think
wonderful.
my first three were Aladdin.
Yes,
To
yeah.
three Aladdins in a row.
Spalding. I'm reading the Panto archive, which is good. So that's my
Oh my
go-to,
goodness.
obviously. Spalding, Cambridge, and Bromley.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And do you think, because we discuss Aladdin a lot now on Cuppa Chat, do you think that there's still a place for Aladdin? I know what you're going to say, but for the general, people again, because Aladdin is slowly starting to come back, but a lot of companies are a bit scared to do Aladdin now for different reasons, which we don't need to touch upon. But would you like to do Aladdin again one day? I suppose I'm saying.
Oh my goodness, I'd be bang up for doing Aladdin again. Um, I mean, it can absolutely still be done. I mean, I think there's exciting things going on with Aladdin's this year. Um, Evolution's Aladdin in Canterbury the other year was astounding, and sort of I'm aware of the work that went into to making that such a successful show and such a show that lives up to the name Evolution. To make sure that Aladdin production was an evolution of pantomime, while still remaining a really strong Aladdin storyline that can totally still be done. I think a lot of people are scared of Aladdin because they've got a shed full of racist sets. But it's true. It. Of course, we're all mad passionate about the tradition of an art form. Um, you've got to know when to progress something. You've got to know when to move on. And sometimes people use tradition as a bit of an excuse for doing old lazy stuff that really doesn't have a place now.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, you're with Crossroads now, and they've brought it back with Newcastle this year, which I think is wonderful, seeing it back on the sort
Yeah,
of
that's
the
very
list
exciting.
again. Yeah, it looks really great. And you're back once again this year with Peter Pan.
Yes.
Um, so now this is an interesting question, which I get asked a lot to ask people. When you move to a different venue, because we know if you're in the same venue, you've got to tweak it, obviously. When you move to a different venue, do you go, oh, I'll just do what I did last year, it worked? Or do you get that opportunity to freshen it up for the new audience?
So I've never done the same title back to back like this before, other
Mm,
than Aladdin, but that was for different companies. I've never
yeah.
done the same title for the same company. That was well explained, and I think I I will not settle. I won't settle. Sometimes much to the annoyance of people because I want it to be different and new and fresh and like my sort of core pantomime routines will sort of stay fairly similar as a basis, but there's always be little additions and topicals and stuff like that you can add to them. Um, but yeah, I'm already sort of already having meetings about what we can do this year because I think tops of the bill can also massively change the content of the show. So, for example, in Milton Keynes, there was obviously a lot of fantastic material from Craig Revel Horwood and a lot of strictly related material in that sense as well. We've got Alexandra Burke and Dr. Range this year in Southampton, which is an insane casting,
Mm.
which I can't quite believe I'm alongside. And so it's things like what material or what stuff travels with them as performers, what references travel with them. And then there's also the fact that this year in Southampton, I believe, is the Pantomime Adventures of Peter Pan. So again, there's some slight tweaks going on there as well. But yeah, work is already underway, which is incredibly exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. And for anyone again who maybe doesn't know, how long does it take you to come up with these routines and to add these ideas all together for a new season?
It's almost never finished, really. It's never finished. I mean, my routines have sort of developed over the years and sort of in pantomime I'd say the sort of core routines I have with my main puppet Gordon the monkey who I use in pantomime um, they've remained similar but they've always grown with each year or adapted or changed to fit into the script or changed to fit in it's all of those little tweaks and even within the run you'll find new bit as you'll know. I mean, improvisation is a huge part of being a comedic role in pantomime, and it's sort of we have that freedom to uh, to make little tweaks and adapt with the show and what's going on. So I think it's never a finished process. But obviously, you want to have something that goes in the script. So there are hard deadlines, but comedically things can grow within reason. Within reason.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. You don't want the people backstage going, "What on earth is he doing now?" You know, you want to at
Well,
least.
exactly, and also they can't just continuously grow. I think a really good example of like when there was a hard deadline and it actually led to the creation of a new routine was Aladdin in Bromley when they were still Kudos, and that was the first time I'd ever worked with a script which had spaces that said vent spot, uh, 5 minutes, and so confronted with that, I go, okay, so what do I do? What do I do there? What do I actually do there? And so that led to, because I had that deadline. The deadlines are so good for creativity, even if they feel like death. Is that led to the creation of a really solid routine with Gordon the monkey to fit that spot. So I think that was a really useful deadline, and meant that the creativity had to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. We all could come up with ideas, as you say, that can go on forever and ever. And as you rightfully said, we all enjoy that sort of opportunity in Panto to explore and tweak, and we go, oh, that got a good laugh. Let's build on that. But as you say, you have to have those sort of voices in your head, if not by producers, directors, whoever, going, no, come on, we need to rein it in, because we
Yeah,
would all go a bit mad, wouldn't we? We're all presenters and entertainers for those reasons. We want to show off, really. That's what we're trying to say.
yeah. I
Um,
think I think that especially as comedians, self-awareness is a huge part of the job, and it just I just think it comes across so instantly unprofessional when you can tell that someone is not self-aware of how long they're doing or how much they're adding, or if they're not being generous as a performer.
yeah,
You can sniff it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, you're obviously brilliant at your job. You, as I say, keep doing these wonderful shows. You even won a pantomime award, didn't you, the other year?
I did. In 2020, I won it sat on my sofa eating crisps. I won the best speciality act, which is an award that has since then never been awarded. So I'm still the winner. I'm still the winner. So let's just all take a moment. I'm still the winner. Um, yes. So that that was my title.
Maybe no one
But
could top you, you see. So they've had to retire the award.
what can I say? What can I say?
How does it feel to keep going to these companies keep coming to you and going, come and do another one with us? Do you ever get a moment where you sort of pinch yourself going, I can't believe it? You work incredibly hard, so you, as I say, deserve it. But there
Oh my
must be
goodness.
times where you're like, oh wow, again, this is just fantastic.
Yeah, all the time.
Mm.
All the time. And no matter how like good you are, or no matter how good you feel you are, you're never gonna feel. I certainly, you never feel like fully deserving of it. It's always nice. Yeah, it's very surreal, and I think pantomime, because it is so ludicrous in its showbiz spectacle and its castings and its material. It is probably only amplifies the surrealness of that. You go, okay, right. So I'm stood here in sparkly trousers, having a dance off with Craig Revel Horwood, head judge of Strictly. Okay, okay, right, cool, great. How is that ever not going to be surreal?
Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of surreal moments in pantomime, and it's another reason why I love it so much. It's just so enjoyable and ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Max, where did it all start for you though? I'm really always intrigued to see the love of Panto. It normally sparks from somewhere. Where did it start for you?
I remember being terrified of Abanazar,
Oh,
and that was at Harlow Playhouse. Um, and yeah, so I think the first panto I remember seeing was Harlow Playhouse. Absolutely loved it, but was terrified of Abanazar. And yeah, then
aren't
went to
we
see
all?
various. Yeah, absolutely. It's his job. It's his literal job. Yeah, because my mum's from Harlow, so we went to Harlow Panto. So that was the first con, and I remember absolutely loving it. Then from the age of 4 to 11, I lived in Scotland, and so uh, we went to, I think it was the Kings. I think it was went to Glasgow Panto, definitely. I think Karen Dunbar was in it, which was insane. I wish I could watch that Panto now. I mean, as with a lot of pantos as a kid, I wish I could watch that panto now, knowing what I know and being such a fan of pantomime. So yeah, a massive variation in pantomimes, but always loved it because it was, you don't see slapstick comedy live elsewhere. You don't see special acts live elsewhere. You don't see variety live else. You don't see these people doing these. It was the only place and still continues to be the only place you see it, which is, I think, why I'm so passionate about pantomime, but also the fact that I'm a ventriloquist in a pantomime, because so many people, kids especially, but this also goes for adults, will say afterwards, I've never seen that live
Mm.
before. I think also it helps that, sometimes people have a bit of perception of what ventriloquism is. And the same with panto. People think panto's naff as well.
Mm.
But sort of if we're going out there and giving them a really good show, then they walk away with like going, "Oh, actually, I quite like that. Quite like that ventriloquist. It wasn't rubbish." So if anything, if I can do a job and have people leaving going, "Oh, that was ventriloquism, but it wasn't rubbish," then hooray for art forms. So fingers crossed I'm doing that.
Yeah, oh, you definitely are. You definitely are. And I mean, going full circle now, there'll be young people that are watching you going, I want to do that. I want to be like him. Does that make you feel special inside?
Oh, that's very lovely. Yeah, that's really nice. Um, yeah, I mean that's that's one. I look forward to like seeing people come up through pantomime. I think it's great.
Mhm.
Um, and like I get excited when I see like a comedian friend who hasn't done it before is now on the phone. I'm like, yes, yes, we've got them. This is amazing. Because I know, or you hope that they'll fall in love with the art of pantomime, but also pantomime will welcome them and make them fly. Really, yeah, that's so exciting. People coming into it new and people being inspired by it is brilliant. And I think pantomime has such a. I know we all bang on about it. The financial contribution to the arts, the way it keeps theatres open and stuff like that. It's such an important part of the art. So if it's also inspiring the next generation, I mean, what can pantomime not do at this point? What can pantomime not do?
I agree. It fixes all the problems. You go in with worries. You can come out with a little jump in your step. You can inspire for the future. I mean, just thinking back to when I came to see you last year at Milton Keynes, the kids were just talking about you completely at the end of the show. And it's wonderful when you go and see any pantomime to hear them having those conversations about a certain act or a dancer or whatever, the lights, anything. It's not just the performers, obviously. There's some of them that are really interested with the special effects. And we're
Mhm.
inspiring, and that's you don't think of it like that, obviously, when you're on stage. You're just there to entertain, but we are inspiring people, which is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's nice. If that's a byproduct of that ridiculousness, then cool. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I agree. Max, moving forward to the future. So we know you're in Peter Pan this year, as such.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you crystal ball in what you're going to be in the following year because you maybe don't know. Yeah, maybe you do. I don't know. But is there anyone that you want to still do? Is there a pantomime that you're like, oh, I really want to do Humpty Dumpty or something like that? It's a bit out there, that one. But
Do you know what? I think it would actually quite cool to do something like Humpty Dumpty because I don't know what on earth it is. What is it? Like, we see these old posters of Humpty Dumpty. What was that show? And also, people go on about pantomime. Oh, there was no story. It was what Humpty Dumpty probably didn't have much of a story. And you look at the bill and you go, how are they fitting all those acts in this show with a story? And I don't think they are. I think they're doing quite a lot of on one off.
mhm.
So yeah. Oh, this. Any and all really, um any and all. I like. Oh, what haven't I done? I haven't done Dick Whittington. I don't really know much about that as a pantomime. uh
I mean, have you done? have you done Goldilocks? Because that's obviously a variety show as such. So
I've never done Goldilocks. No, and I've never done Goldilocks, and I love the sort of the brilliant circus aesthetics we're seeing
yeah,
coming from that show, and it's an opportunity for like people to do big illusions.
mm.
More illusionists in Panto, please. More magicians. More massive illusionists. Get
Mm.
Hans Clock in a pantomime ASAP. Like, yes, I want big, massive boxes. Yes, want more magic.
And then we want
Um,
you flying out to them, obviously.
yeah, absolutely, always. Actually, I aim by the end of my career to never touch the floor. Um,
I mean, that would be a first, surely. I could see it now.
oh,
Max first,
I'm
not
sure it's
being
been done. Surely someone has flown for an
for the whole
entire show.
show.
Surely someone has never touched the floor. But yes, that's what I can only aspire to.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And looking back at some of the people in the past that have graced our stages, is there a person that you wish that you had maybe had seen on the stage in pantomime, or that if you could go back in Doctor Who's TARDIS, whatever, you can go and watch them again, maybe.
Yeah, I saw a great clip of Arthur Askey doing Dame the other month on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Because he
Mm.
was so short and he was so like nimble, and it's just funny. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of dames. So most dames, yeah, I'll go and see most dames. The answer is most dames. Um, and then every Ventac that ever has existed, really. I think that's really it for me. Is like I want to see what Ray Allen did in pantomime.
Mhm.
I want to see what these ventriloquists did, and uh, I want to see my friend Dawson Chance in Panto. Um, I never got to see him live in pantomime. He's retired now, but we're really good friends, and I've sort of got to know him, and even now I used a prop of his in pantomime last year as well, which was really lovely. Um, and yeah, I would love to have seen him live in Panto because I've seen bits and bobs of footage, but it's just incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. There is so many wonderful people over the years that you just think back, like even the more broader ones that we all know, like maybe seeing Scylla back in the day as the Principal
Oh
Boyle,
my
Barbara
goodness, yeah, that would have
Windsor,
been
you
yeah.
know, just fantastic, really. But this again, we think about, oh, we've lost all those great performers. There's still loads and loads out there now, and I'm sure you will echo my words that if you're watching this and never seen a panto, go and see them because there's so many even acts that maybe are only just starting out. You never know who you're going to see one day who started off in
Oh,
panto.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I think another lovely thing about pantomime is that it's valid in all its forms in terms of like a an amateur dramatics pantomime in a village hall is still a pantomime,
Mm,
and the Palladium is so those are both pantomimes, and that's like undeniable fact. And I love that sort of sense of
mm.
equity. And I think it's yeah, go and watch a pantomime for sure.
Yeah. Did you start in the young ensemble or the babes, Max, when you did it, or did you go straight in with
No,
Aladdin?
never, I never did that sort of thing. I did used to dance as a kid. You could not tell that now, but yeah, I went in at 18 when Polka Dot gave me my first
Mm.
opportunity. Went in as Wishy Washy straight away, which was yeah. I just learnt to drive, so then driving up all the way up to Lincolnshire was quite a thing. But yeah, straight in.
Yeah.
A unique path in. Very lucky.
Yeah. And I was going to say, 'cause the Zoom gods are coming against us already, as I always say. What would you say to anyone who wants to maybe get into the career of entertainment, but more, panto? What would your advice be to people? Maybe they want to start a specialist act like yourself.
Um, keep it fun. Like don't turn your hobby in. I mean, this ventriloquism and comedy is sort of my hobby turned into a job. Don't turn your hobby into a job too quickly.
Mm.
I think as people are encouraged to mature so much earlier now and know what they want to do so much earlier, there is so much pressure to like monetize it or be the thing or do the thing or go full time or like just take it easy, keep having fun with it,
Mm.
and be very easy to work. Be easy to work with.
Mhm.
Um, that will pay dividends if you're easy to work with. And yeah, make connections, but don't be weird about it. I think is, you know, we're all Panto fans. Yeah, keep it fun, keep going, because that's essentially how I view what I've done. Is essentially I've just from sort of early teenage years when I sort of started practicing properly and doing it, is going from school assemblies to local events and then kids parties and I've just kept doing it and said yes to opportunities when they come or created my own opportunities. Social media has been useful for me. It's still an absolute minefield and I have a massively love-hate relationship with it. But that can help in some ways, but it's not the be all and end all. You just keep doing what you're doing and get good, be easy to work with, and have fun with it. I suppose there's never an answer, is there? There's never an actual clear-cut answer. So sorry to anyone watching this hoping for a clear-cut answer. I know I've just frustrated you, but hopefully there's something useful in my words. If not, sorry. Bye.
No, I think you're completely right, and I try and say this to anyone who asks me, about, and I'm so happy that you said about you started off in school assemblies and things, because I mean that's how I started doing the presenting and so on, and my acts as well. Now that you learn these things over the years, I tell people to go and find a youth theatre, go and find
Yeah.
your local theatre, and see if there's any opportunities to be in the ensemble or helping backstage even, because I think it's so important to find those skills and to learn, but as you say, to enjoy yourself at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, massively. And you're so right about doing jobs around the thing you actually want to do as well. Like in lockdown, I did some jobs as a runner on some TV shows, and I absolutely loved it because I'm a massive fan of TV. And to get to work in it in any aspect was really, really great. It was a massive learning curve, but it was so inspiring. And to get it was an opportunity to get to watch people work as well, and see people who are very good at what they do, and you go, oh, that's really interesting how they did that. So yeah, be a sponge, be an absolute sponge.
Yeah, wonderful. Be a sponge. I like that. Be a sponge, Max. Well, we've nearly come to the end, as I say, of our cup of chat today. Thank you so much for coming on. But before you go, always ask everyone this, and it's going to be no different for you. You have been given a pot of gold, a pot of magic. What are you going to be performing in your own ideal world pantomime? Who are you playing? What panto are you in? And who do you want to be in it with you? I know we've alluded to this a little bit, but you've got to choose one of each now. So what's the show to start with, Max?
What's the show to start with? The show is going to be, no, not that. Maybe not that. I enjoyed that. I did like that. I'm sort of tempted. Oh, if I'm casting it, I'm sort of tempted to say Cinderella because it is like everyone's ultimate panto. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say a show I've never seen before. Sod it, Humpty Dumpty.
Oh, there we go.
There's an exclusive for you. Never seen it. Don't know the story, but let's go ahead with this. Humpty Dumpty.
And who do you want to play then in it? This is going to be interesting.
Well, I'll be the classic comic role in that, the egg's best friend. That is who he's called. Silly. He's called a bit. He's the egg's best friend, so he's the comic, and I'll do that. I'll be that. Yeah.
Yep, perfect. And who's going to be your co-star in it? It can be someone from nowadays or in the past.
Oh my goodness. Well, the egg would have to be. Oh God, Danny LaRue. I don't know. Maybe. No. Barbara Win. No. Who would play Humpty Dumpty? Someone, dynamic. Who would Christopher Biggett? Who could we?
You're going to have Paul Chuckle at this rate, Max.
Sorry?
You're going to have Paul Chuckle at this rate.
Oh, that would be great. That would be so good. Let's have Danny LaRue as a big comeback.
I love that. That this is one of my favorite answers because everyone's always very serious at this point, and you've just got, and you're being very serious, obviously. But I love it.
I'm being incredibly serious, and I want that answer is now set in stone, and it's definitely it's what I've always wanted, and everything I've just said, I've always thought that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, it's going to be in the newspapers tomorrow now, then when this goes out. And we're going to say Max wants to be Humpty Dumpty's best friend with Danny LaRue.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and the wall would be played by Take That.
On that note, Max, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. I love it.
No, thank you for having me. This has been a wild ride.
It certainly has. We've gone in many different directions, and I've quite enjoyed it though. And I look forward to hopefully us one day having that time machine, and we can take you back to make this version of Take That's Danny LaRue's Humpty Dumpty, which hopefully
Yes.
you'd have read the script by then.
Oh, you should see the end of that one.
What happens? Do you fly again?
Yeah, I fly to try and rescue the egg as it falls.
Yeah, fair, fair. Very good. Thank you so, so much. And remind us one more time, where are you this Christmas?
I'm in Southampton at the Mayflower in the pantomime adventures of Peter Pan with Alexandra Burke and Dr. Ranch.
Oh, and not forgetting yourself as well, of course.
I'll also be there.
Yeah, you will be there. But thank you, Max, so much. And if you want to read more about Max's career on the Panto archive, you can go onto the website. We'll put the link in there now. Thank you once again to our incredible Cuppa Sat Char.
Thanks so much.
I'll put my teeth in.
What was that?
Star.
Did you call me a cup of shat?
No, I didn't. Right, I'll see you all soon. Max, say goodbye. We'll get cancelled now.
Bye!